This program on investing under regulation crowdfunding is not investment advice.
Rising with the crowd, power unbound, change makers lead where hope is found. Superpowers for good, shaping the fate. Investors and dreamers open the gate. Supercross stands loud, proud and true, building tomorrow for me and you.
Welcome to the Superpowers for Good show from the Super Crowd. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and I am really grateful today for the opportunity to share with you an exciting, innovative guest, Abdullah Choudhry, the Chief Impact Officer at Arbor Eco. And boy, you're going to be fascinated by the conversation we're having today about accounting for carbon. This is not nerd stuff. This is like this is fascinating stuff. This is real world stuff. So stick around. Abdullah, welcome so much. We're so grateful that you would make time to join us on the show today. Thank you.
Absolutely, Devin. Great to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you and value the work that you're doing. It's pretty amazing. You've kind of demonstrated this for me, and I'm working with some of your colleagues on further demonstration capability, but it's really exciting to see what you can do. Tell us about how you are calculating and accounting for carbon in marketplaces and able to compare products one to another.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Devin. We're taking quite a non-traditional approach here and just trying to increase the availability of technology and things that we could do to measure carbon footprint. As you know, climate change is getting worse every year. And we got quite frustrated with the current techniques in the market. And if anyone's familiar, a lot of it is spend-based accounting. So essentially, how much money do you spend? And then multiplying it with the generic emission factor to get to a number that doesn't really represent your value chain. And what we realize is that every business is just all about its products and services, right? We see a lot of EV adoption, we see a lot of office recycling program, but we still don't see us moving forward in the right direction with climate change. And the reason for that is that our product supply chains for anything from agriculture to consumer goods, like the apparel items that we wear, is all spread out the world. And it isn't about generating carbon accounting at a company level, but being super accurate at a value chain level, being able to understand the decisions that you have at a material level, at a supplier level, and designing the future product lines of your company's flagship products is how we're going to change the society and economy as a whole towards a lower carbon footprint. And in terms of decarbonization, we have so many amazing solutions out there, but we can't seem to connect the demand to the supply because we seem to be accounting all separately. So we kind of went out and took an initiative to build the best possible technology with the data science and the software technologies out there and combining and bringing it to the carbon footprinting world.
This is cool stuff that you're doing. And I think, to put some specificity around it, you built, a model that would allow you to compare almost any two products, one to another, right? Looking at the value chain and as consumers, we can all kind of appreciate that if our homes are completely electrified, we're not using any fossil fuels in our homes. And if we have electric cars, we're not using any fossil fuels to drive directly, right? But we also recognize that if the electricity is coming from the grid and the grid is 60% powered by fossil fuels, there's still a lot of fossil fuels, but we're not buying the natural gas. We're not buying. And so how are you able to use your technology and your skills to calculate all those different tiers of inputs all the way through the value chain? How does that work?
It's a great question, Devin. And the easiest way to answer is to kind of tell a quick story about how we decided to build this. We wanted to build something that we wanted to use ourselves as consumers every day. an election comes around every 5 years, but every day we make so many more decisions that we could help all facilitate this economy transition. And when we thought ourselves as consumers and we went out to like grocery stores or our favorite retail outlets and we were scrolling through the products that were available, we realized that that's the information that available in those products should be enough to be able to capture that carbon footprint at a unique level. And what I mean by that is that if you're comparing 2 t-shirts or 2 bags of rice, or you're comparing 2 cereals, the way they're produced, the way these materials are being farmed, we want to make sure that our money is being trickled down to the practices that are aligned with the future. So it was a monumental task to be able to take that philosophical question and turn it into a technology. So essentially what we wanted to do was create something that was simple with optional complexity. We knew that companies would have access to more information than what they put out at point of sales, but we know that that information isn't going to be available in the public domain. Now, with what is available in public domain is that even these companies who are putting out climate change reports, impact reports, are not really accounting for their products in a unique nature because of lack of access to tools like Arbor or many number of other reasons. We wanted to create a tool that people like us, like people, consumers from every day of life, could come in and be able to have data allow them to make a decision that they felt more confident with, instead of a generic claim like 100% sustainable or 100% biodegradable materials. Like, these needed to be quantified so that a comparison could be fair between 2 choices, and the choice had a lot of impact on how the economy could move forward. So being able to then reverse engineer from that all the way down to the farm level, and being able to allow our business customers to have inputs at various levels of their own value chain made it a lot more easier for them to be able to connect to their suppliers, to the choices available in their own value chains, and forecast what these emissions could look like when they have access to this data, and then be able to make decisions on the spot with a lot more confidence than they can right now.
This is really cool stuff that you've created, and I love it. I'm working with one of your colleagues to do kind of a demonstration case on some dog food, right? We're looking at dog food and comparing, they make some sustainability claims and eco-friendly kind of claims. So we're going to dig into it, see if their ingredients are in fact more eco-friendly. And I'm excited to see what will come from that exercise. But I think that kind of comparison is now readily available to the folks who are creating products and to buyers who are buying products in volume. I think it makes sense. And right now, that's who your customers really are, right? Is commercial enterprises today.
Yes, Devin, I think that's where we decided that the data could be the most impactful today. A lot of these businesses don't have access to data-powered tools. When you think about sustainability, it's not necessarily like you're the most technological savvy part of the world. And that is the part that we had the biggest obstacle in being able to conquer this sustainability problems that we have with the best available technologies. When all of our best brains end up working on ML and AI models and all these amazing space technologies, sustainability does not get that brain power being put towards it. And we realized that a lot of these businesses were using decades-old tools, spreadsheets, a lot of human error spread across their value chain, while in fact we had all these available technologies in other industries that were being utilized a lot better. So when you think about the importance and urgency of us being able to treat climate change, we just wanted to change the conversation from it becoming a decades-old practice of just organizing data and publishing end-of-year reports to it becoming an integral part of every transaction a business does. Now, when it goes from being part of an end-of-year report to every part, like a data-driven decision that you have to make in every part of your business, it brings a lot more people to the conversation. The procurement teams, the design teams, the compliance teams, the ops teams, they are all part of solving the same variable. And before Arbor, that was rarely the case. So for us, we knew that if businesses who could be empowered and we knew could make some incremental decisions, the impact of it was so much larger than what we could do in any other area. But we do hope that after success in this area, we'll be able to create a lot more educational and guidance tools for people of all backgrounds.
As I look at this, it looks to me like you've got some great big clients that are already using the tools. Is it something that is affordable for small businesses as they develop products to enhance their sustainability as they develop products?
Again, a great question, Devin. It's a personal passion of mine to make this kind of work more accessible and more empowering to small and medium businesses, because I do believe they have a very, very important role to play. You are correct. We work with a lot of large enterprises in North America, Europe, and Japan. And we try to use the pilot projects, the big scale projects that we do over there, and the ability to create new technologies. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is make the most affordable, fast, and cheap way of being able to counter this problem. And that means that this technology should be accessible to people of all backgrounds. So for that specific case, one of our first initiatives was to make our software self-serving and eliminate the need for humans to get involved. And essentially, by eliminating that, we made this solution a lot more affordable and a lot more reachable to businesses of all kinds. So if you're if you're a viewer watching this and you have a business idea that you wanted to get going on, or if you have a business that you've already started, that's maybe a small or medium business that's on Shopify, we do have a self-serving software on our website that you can go and try it out, and you get up to 3 free products. We don't mean to charge you for anything and everything. We just want you to start on this journey with us, and we are willing to meet you wherever you are.
That's fantastic. It's so valuable for the world to begin building products, designing them from the ground up with these calculations, with this carbon accounting in mind, so that carbon footprint is known and understood from the day that product hits the shelves, rather than having that calculated after the fact. Very exciting. Very exciting. Well, Abdullah, I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. We're going to take a quick pause here. Folks, I'm here with Abdullah Choudhry. He's the Chief Impact Officer at Arbor, and they're a company that's doing carbon accounting that is more accurate and more affordable than anything that's been on the market so far. So this is exciting stuff. I want to encourage you to stick around. We're going to shift gears when we come back, and we'll talk to Abdullah about his superpower. So you don't want to miss this. Stick around.
Download a free copy of How to Make Money with Impact Crowdfunding, the book Sarah Hanks describes as
a fantastic overview, not just of crowdfunding investing, but of investing in general.
Andrew Savickas raved,
"This book offers unparalleled insights for anyone looking to make a difference."
Scan the QR code to get your copy.
Ready to take your small business to the next level? Honeycomb Credit empowers diverse entrepreneurs by connecting you with community-driven funding. Build customer relationships, amplify your brand, and grow with those who believe in you. Honeycomb Credit, where your community invests in you.
Scan the QR code to start today.
Join the Impact Crowdfunding movement. Get Superpowers for Good, your free daily newsletter with exclusive video replays, a podcast, and the latest investment opportunities open to everyone. Join the super crowd. Scan now so you can learn to make money while you make a difference.
Welcome back, everyone. We're so happy to have you here today. We've got with us Abdullah Choudhry, who is the Chief Impact Officer of Arbor, where they're doing amazing work to calculate and account for carbon, estimating more accurately and more affordably the carbon footprint of products. This is exciting stuff and so important in today's day and age. We're going to shift gears now to talk to Abdullah now about his superpower, so stick around. Abdullah, as you think about this important work that you're doing, I look at you and I see man, this guy's a hero. You're doing such important work. What is your superpower?
Yeah, I think this is a topic I'm pretty passionate about, Devin. And anyone who ever asked me a question about what's my best ability or superpower, I can only think of one thing. Something that's helped me throughout my life since I was a young teenager growing up in Pakistan. And, it's helped me throughout my life. It's being persistent. Every day that I wake up, I know I might not be the smartest person in the room. I know I may not have the best resources available to me, but what I am is very persistent. If I believe in my vision and what I want to do, I know it is going to be hard to make change happen at any level. It's hard to make change happen at home. I had to do that when I was growing up in Pakistan. I had to convince my family to allow me to leave the country and pursue my own dreams. And then being able to educate myself by working hard, doing various jobs, and being able to create a platform that I wanted to create in the way that I see it fit required a lot of persistence. So essentially being able to, not be demotivated when things don't work out. Failure has become my favorite joy of learning. It's a tool I am very experienced in at this point. And every challenge that I perceive, I know that it's going to require a certain level of grit and level of toughness that just gets better over time, but I can't ever let go of that superpower. I need it every day.
Persistence is a great superpower. One of the challenges with persistence is that persistence, it's easy to persist in doing something that's dumb. Just as it is, if you're really a persistent human being, you can be persisting in something that's good or something that's dumb. How do you distinguish? How do you throttle back your superpower when you realize, oh, this isn't working? This really is not a good thing. I need to shift. How do you do that? That's a tricky part of persistence, I think.
Yeah, no, I think you really hit the nail on the head there. I think that's where personalities like me can be a little bit challenging at times to even convince when we're wrong, because we could be so persistent in being in about the wrong things. I think the way that I've learned the most is through repetition and iteration. Going through so many experiences and being able to see where people were right and I was wrong. I don't think of it as a bad thing. I have this quote by Alan Watts that I always try to remember myself, especially if I keep being successful in any of my endeavors, is that I can change my mind 5 minutes from now if I learn something new. So I'm always open to agreeing to a better logic. I'm always open to being agreed to better science if it can be presented. And I am in no way making this personal, making my ambition or my ability to create change or lead people into creating a decarbonized society, whatever that challenge may be. I know that there are things out there that I don't know. I know I barely know anything in the world right now. So if someone comes around and is willing to educate me and is willing to show me what that could look like from their perspective, I am willing to listen to every person. I may not agree with them because of my own reasons, but if they were right, I absolutely make it a point to learn something from that experience and remember that for the next time that will come in handy, because I know there will going to be another time.
Yeah, that's great. Great insight. Can you think of a specific example, a story you could share that illustrates how you have used persistence to accomplish something you're proud of?
Yeah, great question. I mean, quite a few things come to mind. I'll use something super quick. So I went to university in the US at Kansas State University, and as an international student, tuition is a lot. And especially coming from Pakistan and not having the finances to be able to support international tuition can be really, really challenging. what I was trying to do in my persistence was I was trying to take any job that I could get my hands on, work really hard. But even if I did all of that, I wasn't going to be able to make my $35,000 USD tuition a year. So what I had to do was I had to be a little bit smart about it. I knew the math wasn't going to work and I could predict it. So what I was able to do was I was able to use my experience in science and engineering and garnish up some business skills on the side, be able to help a little bit more creatively. And this one specific thing that ended up helping me graduate from the US was I helped a friend sell furniture in New York. Something I had no background in, but I knew that if I could put my brain and my work ethic towards, I could learn a lot about, and I could help them with whatever my friend was facing in terms of selling his furniture. Now, 2-3 weeks of really unique amount of work that I had never experienced before, I was able to help sell his stock pretty easily, I would say, instead of working a lot of those restaurant jobs and the student jobs on campus are. And I needed my persistence again, but I had to be smart about it, right? So that's essentially like just one small example, but I think there's an example that comes around every week. This rate.
Yeah, that's a great example. Now, all of us are prone to quitting, right? It's a natural tendency that we all have, and we would all like to be a little bit more persistent, especially when we're pursuing things we truly believe in. Can you coach us? Give us some tips on how to be more persistent?
Yeah, I think I'm a big fan of first principle thinking. Even in like the world that I exist in, it's made out to be so complex, and communication becomes really hard, and you get confused yourself. Like, what is your vision? Why do you want to do this? And how you should go about doing it today. But in terms of like being able to guide yourself through that confusion, it requires a lot clear logic in your brain. And first principle thinking is something that I've always used as my North Star. Those why, what, when, and how questions that I continue to remind myself, and every single time I get lost, you can think of it as my torch in the dark, if you may. And I'm able to maneuver around those things that I believe in and the reasons I want to continue going on this path, or choose not to go down this path if first principle reasons are not agreeing anymore. So instead of making it too overtly complex and emotions playing into stress, anxiety, and expectations of people around you, I tend to see that this conversation is best suited to just have within yourself using first principle thinking, and you'll be able to venture out on a lot more adventures and live life to its fullest.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Well, Abdullah, we're really grateful that you would make time for us today. Before we wrap up, I wonder if you would take a minute and tell people how they can learn more about your work, especially telling people how they can actually use the tool. Give us a little bit of we don't have time for a primer, but give us the key steps. How do we find the tool? How do we use the tool to make an estimate, especially for the entrepreneurs in the group who are watching and want to say, wow, I would really like to be able to calculate my carbon footprint today.
So if you go on our website, www.arbor.eco, you'll see that there's a self-serving platform that you can use. Now, in terms of the information you'll need at hand, it's very basic to get you started. So if you're on a website, let's say you're on Nike or anywhere, like it's holiday season, you're looking at gifts for your family. When you go into the products page, there will be a product description that will describe its materials and made-in information. You can copy that information and the image from that website that you're on, and then you're able to go into our tool and be able to easily put that information in and get to an estimate. So it's essentially less than a couple minutes of time at most if you're using it for the first time. And if you get really, really good at it, I've had people spend less than 10 seconds being able to generate a result. So go on our website, select some of your famous or your favorite products that you're always looking to gift others, and think about the carbon footprint of those purchases and how they change over time.
Abdullah, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. I really appreciate your insights and for sharing what you've shared. We've learned a lot from you today. I want to wish you every success in your efforts to help the world reduce carbon. We've got a long way to go. We need your help, so we want to see you succeed.
Thanks, Devin. We're just getting started, and thanks for helping us spread the message.
All righty, let's do some good.